Hello and welcome to Let's Drone Out. You're listening to a vlog podcast type thing that comes out every Thursday. And I hope you just saw that of Tony taking a nice shot. This is what Tony has to go through every single time he gets on the show. And we're going to chart his progress. We might even get him flying later because we asked to do the experiment to see how well we can make Tony fly.
Well, he's drunk.
Or techniques.
Let's do it.
Yeah. I mean, the idea got reignited last week when the drip was on and we were talking about cold water and stuff like that. So, but Tony, welcome back.
Hello, sorry about that.
Hello, no, bonjour.
Bonjour, ça va? Bonjour.
Ça va.
This should be called Alcoholics Anonymous.
Tony, have you had a tough week? We'll get to clear in a moment, but have you had a tough week there, Tony?
Well, yeah, my dog's had a tough week. My wallet's had a tough week. But yeah. Are you drinking, Jay?
Well, I am, yes. I have just finished one other show of a music show after this one, so I'm going to be drinking.
Look at us. Are you drinking, Clint?
Yeah.
No, afraid not. I've got my vape, but no, I'm not drinking.
We don't actually condone drinking, and it's just something that happens when the sun comes out. That's right. It's British summertime. Get your batteries charged. You've got maybe less than a week to go out and fly.
Day or two if you're lucky.
Mind you, it has been quite windy.
Yeah.
Been horrible windy for 2 weeks, and then we had a nice day yesterday, and now it's back to a bit windy again. It's actually just started to die down, I think, now.
Yeah. It's morning or late flying, but I think there's more bugs late flying, so it's not as enjoyable. You get a cluster of them above your head, buzzing around as you're on your goggles. And yes, it's not drones; it's more like mosquitoes.
It was mosquitoes. Yesterday I was out. I done the golden hour. I loved it. It was really nice.
And what time is the golden hour, Tony? To educate our listeners, your golden hour. It's not golden hour.
Don't Google that.
No. You know, this has taken a podcast has taken a turn for the worst. I mean, this week it's now golden hours. To pronounce that correctly.
Yeah, it was golden hours. I was out there a couple of hours. Just I put a new FPV cam on my Revo, which I use for my freestyle, and it's really nice camera, and the new Fox here.
Yeah.
It was lovely, but 4 flights in, I was at the end of my run and lost video, and I don't know whether it was my quad or the clear view, or the lead going in the clear view, or the battery lead. It's happened twice now while using the clear view. Last time it fell from about 100 foot and smashed my camera up. That's why it's got a new one on. And this time it went black and I panicked, held for about 3 or 4 seconds. Nothing come back, so I took my goggles off, couldn't see it, and then was dropping the throttle. I switched it off and I just caught it out the corner of my eye, fall into the floor, rearmed and just gave it a shit ton of power up before it hit the floor and saved it, basically.
A shit ton of power.
Shite. That's swearing, is that legal? I heard swearing on radio too today. I think we're all right saying shit.
The English language does change. Yeah, shit's probably becoming much more palatable than. Well, do you think it's your clear view, or is it the same VTX? Did you change the VTX, or is it the same VTX?
I have changed the VTX. I've put a something milliwatt hour. Sorry, not milliwatt hour. Quite higher than the average in there, which is good for penetration. I hear.
Right. Is that during the golden hour or after the golden hour?
During.
Even with the bugs going around, it's good for.
There was bugs landing on my head, actually. I could feel them landing on my head, and I was shaking them and stuff. I must have looked like a weirdo over in the field, sitting on my own, going like that.
There is a danger of bugs in the morning or night. They are quite pesky, and something so small can annoy us humans so much bigger. Enough to actually where we lose our quad for whatever reason. So I don't know. Maybe you can fix that by not flying in the golden hour. Hey, Tony.
No, it's lovely
But-
though. It's perfect weather, golden hour
But surely
weather.
then, I mean, the Clearview is a big investment of money, so
It is, and it's made my freestyle flying better, I think. It's just no breakup at any time. It's just like, I love it, but unfortunately that breakup was a pretty permanent breakup. I'm pretty sure it's not the Clearview though.
So,
I
and you said
think
it's happened twice. It's not just the once. It's happened twice.
it has happened twice, but sometimes I haven't pushed the, you know, when you put the lead in, and you know, whenever you get them RC jacks, it's on them wires are in there so small, and they're always bent, and you're putting it in and out, in and out, in and out every 2.5 minutes. You know, I've not had it long, but jacks always used to go on my stereo systems in my car back in the day and all that. It was always the jack leads on headphones and stuff. This bit, the bendy bit.
Well, you know, we are actually conducting an experiment as we speak into seeing how much more animated Tony gets if he has a few more shots. Are you going to prepare yourself another shot? Oh, yeah. Quick photography there, was it, where you put your arm in front so we couldn't see it?
Let's see if Tony's still standing at the end of the show.
Call that the Esther Ranson, because it pulls your gums at your lips.
We have a few shout outs from the chat room, by the way.
Yes, let's have a look.
Striker and White Spy from the US of A.
I'm White Spy. Thank you very much for my bits and bobs.
Have you got more bits and bobs you're not sharing?
No, just the bits and bobs that I think Jack put it on his YouTube. That
Oh, the ones from a while ago. I thought he was
Yeah.
sending weekly, daily. Wow.
that'd be lovely, wouldn't it? I need props now.
Every day's Christmas, or whatever festival we used to celebrate when there's a present opening involved. Yeah. We've got Striker Zero, Stuart Bailey, and others in there. So we are going to have Chad Kapper on the show from about 8:30. So we might even run over till about 9:30, depending how we get on, possibly even later. So, yeah. Clinton.
Yes.
Clinton. I hear you've moved up in the world, as they say. Moved up in drop size.
No, I've gone back down again.
What happened? What happened?
I've literally just changed them over now. So these are 5 and a 6 inch the difference in the lengths.
Okay, so the background story is you wanted to fly, but you needed to get the 5-inch arms, but they're out of stock, so you bought a 6-inch Emax.
No, yeah, that's it. So I bought a 6-inch, and I thought, great, I'm going to put some 6-inch props on it.
Yeah. And
I was talking to Neil, and he said, get lower, like get the double props instead of the tris. So I got some Dow 6045s, and I went and flew it on my F60 2500 kV Pros today. And twice, the first time, 2 blades shattered in the air. And I thought, oh, that was unlucky. So I put new blades on it, took off again, and within 3 seconds, another blade shattered in the air. So, yeah, I don't think 6-inch and 2500 kV is a good idea. So I'm going back down to 5-inch, and yeah, just change the arms. So hopefully it'll be good now.
I mean,
Is that called overpropping or something?
Yeah.
Overpropping sometimes when you got an increased pitch over what really you should have. So
Well, it was my mistake, because when I looked at the specs of these motors, I was looking, and the highest thrust value on their testing was the King Kong 6045s. I was like, oh, that's great. I'll just get some 6045 props. It turns out it was the 2200 version of these motors and not the 2500s. The 2500s, there's nothing about 6-inch props whatsoever. So, yeah, it was my bad.
I mean, I had I thought one day, oh, I've got a 6-inch, or it's capable, 6-inch prop capable quad. So I put my 6-inch blades on it, took off, and about 3 seconds in, it all just disarmed and fell. So ironically, I mean, I used to fly a lot bigger props like 8s and stuff back when the day when quadcopters started coming out. 8 and 10 were uncommon, but 6 has been that elusive number, and I don't think there's been as much money put into them. Since we moved to 5-inch props, they were sort of the benchmark, I think, and so perhaps the R&D, and they do actually spin a lot more pressure and force on them.
I was really looking forward to it, actually. I mean, when I first put the tri props on there, I did get about 1.5 minutes, 2 minutes of flight time before I started getting problems, and it was amazing. I was really made up with it. But yeah, no, the 2500 kV is too much. I think from what I've read today, sort of down in the 2000 2100s.
My best 6-inch. My first quad was my first Gravity was a 280, which swung 6-inch, and I used to run the Cobra Racing Edition 2000 kV, and they were perfect. And I still think most people who are doing freestyle should run a 6-inch frame because it carries a GoPro so much better.
So
yeah, that's what I was hoping. I was hoping for some nice, smooth flying, but yeah, just unfortunate though that these F60s just aren't going to cut it. So
yeah,
well,
a bit lower kV will be better. 2100.
Try the Tri-Blade 6058 just to melt the motors as they start to take off. But
crazy. Well, these things are actually shattering 6-inch blades in the air. So there's I've got video evidence of
and that's
blades.
brand new out of the box.
Brand new out of the box 6-inch props, literally shattering in the air.
Brand new 6-inch out of the bag.
Yeah, so they're supposed to be the Dow Unbreakables as well.
But they're not supposed to spin that fast.
Probably not. I mean, you struggle to break these with your hand. The fact that they shattered in the air is crazy.
Go around in circles too fast, I think.
Maybe a little bit. I can just imagine them in the air like this. So, but yeah, 6-inch for now.
White Spy did say they're actually 60-48.
Yes, Mitch, I am drinking whiskey at the moment. You are right. Well, big shout out to Jack Nash, is in the house. What's up?
An extra special shout out to Jack Nash, aka Right Until I Fly. Yeah, you'll have to come on and actually come on the show again for a little while. We haven't seen you for a long time, sir. Yeah. So 6-inch, I don't know. There is that more power capable that you're going to pull out of them, and that I have been tempted.
I think it's just the smoothness, because obviously you don't have to spin them as fast to get as much thrust. And I was kind of just hoping I'd get away with them on the F60s, but well,
the biggest difference I noticed when I used to spin 8-inch props and then I went to 10 was the noise was so much cooler. Proper. So even from a 5 to 6, it would be a slightly deeper sound.
Yeah.
So I'm with you on your journey to try it out.
The F60s are loud anyway. The F60 motors are really, really loud, and you add the dual 6-inch blades, and they are shockingly loud. So yeah, it's an interesting sound. It's like a vroom. Hear it from across the field.
What's it sound like?
It's like a vroom.
Very good.
Yeah.
I know that sound well. Vroom.
Yeah. So, well, this is what we reduced down to, making vroom noises on Electronaut. Yeah. I don't know. I need to start building a new one, but all this talk of micros and all that is really piquing my interest.
Actually,
I've got a new micro. It's great.
Which one?
Dan Upton designed and built 8,000 kV brushless. It's 2-inch, and it's probably actually my best flying quad I own. I'm fed up with race flight. I went to Sumner's Pond the weekend and flew.
Oh, cool.
I flew on race flight and couldn't feel it when I was racing. Went back to my old 210 with a session on really, really heavy quad on the latest beta, and I loved it. It was great. So I'm thinking about keeping my race flight stuff for freestyle and flashing my race quads, race flight boards to putting beta back on them, because it felt so much better.
Yeah, that's exactly what I've just done, is just put beta flight onto the race flight controllers.
Have you?
Do you know why? Because I had 3 boards die on one of their updates. Well, I had 2 boards die, and they replaced one of the boards for me from Hobby King. The board turned up, set everything up, flashed it with the latest firmware, took off, flew fine, and about a minute later, motor 2 just gone. So it's the third board now that I've had where motor 2's gone. But if you're flashing with Betaflight, then you can remap the motors and do all that kind of stuff, which worked a treat. So, and I flew it, it seemed fine. So I was like, you know what? I'm just going to update all of them to Betaflight.
There are a lot of people that are posting perhaps the newer versions of the RC. I think 17 and stuff they're up to. Didn't fly as well as the original ones. And my race flight board was shipped with RC12. And as I've updated it, I've found it's got worse. To the point where when I don't notice it whilst I'm flying, but I notice it when I'm looking back at my recorded HD video. And yeah, I'm thinking about going back on that. But then perhaps I'll just go Betaflight on it because I like Betaflight.
Seems to work well. People are putting it on there, and people are liking it on there. I think you've only got to solder the what is it, TX1 to underneath the board. You've got to do a solder, and then you can flash it. Do you know what it is, Clint? I can't remember.
Oh, no, it's just the boot pins. So you have to do it in the old race flight configurator. You can't do it in the race. You can't do it in race flight 1 configurator. So you have to do it in the original Google app. And then all you have to do is short out the boot pins on the board and then just flash it like normal.
Okay, so you don't got to change TX1 and invert the pad and
just leave that as it is. It's got to be inverted either way. So I haven't changed anything except for short the boot pins out, flash it with the.
All right, I might just do that then. I might just put it on right.
I'd say we're all up for having challenges on this show every week. So why don't we get you doing it now? Get another drink and do it now.
No.
Did you actually have a drink then? Because it cut over to Clinton laughing.
Yeah.
You need another one.
Well, I don't know what's going on.
You must be able to smell that down here.
You alluded to something. Whew, yeah, it smells. You alluded to the fact that you're at Sumner's Pond, the most tranquil place to fly and camp and meet fellow associate RC.
It was
RC.
Lovely.
Was it?
Absolutely.
So it's the same as it always advertises on the tin.
Yep.
The rundown of your whole event and stuff, the ups, the downs, the.
There wasn't none. It was a bit windy on the Saturday, but we sat down in a dip and flew. And when you flew out in front of you, it got windy at the end of the track. But I don't know. It was great. We've done that. Went camping, had a few bevies, had a nice fire pit. And then the local warden come round from the campsite at midnight and said, lads, you're not allowed to have live flames, especially under a tarp, because we were sitting under a big tarp. And he said, you got to put that fire pit out. And within seconds, Richard stood up and weed on it and put it out within seconds. It was absolutely hilarious. You had to be there, but it was funny. He went away. 10 minutes later, it was relit, and we were all singing and dancing around a campfire again. He just didn't want to come back and say put that out again, basically.
So
what you're saying is the hooligans on site causing a ruckus, peeing on fires.
It was funny. That was a golden hour. That was.
No, it sounds good. But I mean, how was the reception of the multi-rotor flyers? Because it's not just RC, not just drone flyers, is it? There's all sorts of people there, like RC planes and all sorts.
Yeah, there was planes, there was cars, there was boats. There was quite a lot of things to do. I was basically just at the drone bit all day.
Did the train bit all day?
Drone.
Oh. I was going to say, actually, I can imagine you.
Yeah, no, it's good. It was good fun. And then getting up with hangovers and trying to fly again, which wasn't too bad. No, it was good.
And you got a new song out of it as well, didn't you, Tony?
Oh, yeah. Are you going to sing it, Tony?
I don't know how it goes. It gets stuck in my head. I nearly swore then, but I held it back.
We should get Rich on to sing it.
Shall I see if Rich can come on and sing for us?
Maybe
we can do that next week. We get Rich on to come and sing it.
The only bit I remember is the Tony Macaroni.
That's the bit we'll get stuck.
We were singing it all night when we heard it, so it's brilliant.
Do you want to give us another louder rendition, please, there, Clinton?
That'd be a negative. No.
Tony? Tony?
Negative O.
See, you make it very big, though. This is
drinking. That's what it is.
He also grins his teeth as soon as he had a shot. Like a grimacing. You don't eat pigs.
Singing in the cat. So.
Yeah. Anyway, we've got a quite a distinguished guest coming on soon, so we'll get all our tomfoolery out of the way. That's what I say. So, Sumners, you going to Western Park? You guys are actually going, aren't you? Oh, you're not, Tony.
Never been.
The next big event.
I might go one day. I'm not planning to this weekend. I got to look after my dogs. Well, especially Junior, who's in a cage. I've just got back from the vets. Had to pay him loads of money. I was like that. I didn't even want to look at the amount of money I had to give him. He showed me the X-rays and stuff. So my dog's now got both. He's got 2 back legs which are completely metal. So can't take him metal detecting anymore.
Can we maybe build a, you know, like sometimes they have these shows on television where they help these dogs by building prosthetic legs or little trolleys that their back legs can go in. Can we not build a multi-rotor inspired transport system?
We're not testing that on my dog.
Little dog harness on the bottom.
Yeah. We'll even put it on a spongy cord or something just so it's not so abrupt landing. And we could make it DJI so you don't have to worry about anyone flying.
And for anybody you don't like, you just wait till you need to go to the toilet and just sort of fly them around overhead.
Another golden shower or golden hour.
Guys, no.
Sorry.
Wrong. Because you'd have to fly. You'd have to have a second drone following along to pick up the dog. With the bag.
I wasn't even going to number 2. You went number 2. Oh, I didn't.
No, but I'm thinking more mobility for Charlie, isn't it? Can we not? Yeah, I think
else Charlie.
Make fly, not like Orville and the dead cat, but flying whilst he's alive.
I don't know who Charlie is.
What's your dog's name?
Junior and Wally. Junior is the one.
Bad news. I've had a show and too much wine. That's what my excuse is.
Charlie. Who's that?
Hello, it's Chad. Hello, Chad.
Who's that in the corner? Introduce yourself.
Hold on, now you can
knows who you are.
Well, it looks like it's much more of an impressive warehouse than what we've got as such as a light and hello, welcome, Chad. Welcome to Let's Drone Out. I don't know if you can hear us, but maybe it might be a slight delay because you're in a warehouse. I don't know. Can you hear us?
Yeah, I can hear you. I had to switch my mic and speaker output.
We usually have to do all that, but we get a little bit more time before the show. But welcome to Let's Drone Out again.
Well, thank you very much.
So it's been a while. I don't know. It's been at least several months, probably 6 months. I can't actually believe we've been running Let's Drone Out for almost 2 years, and in that time you've been on the show. But in that time as well, you've been off on like worldwide adventures to really far off places and everywhere. How on earth?
I actually think the last time we did it was even before Chernobyl, which was about a year ago.
Yeah. So Chernobyl and China, are you trying to get to all the places around the world beginning with C? Is there some sort of trend there?
Yeah, we're trying to go everywhere.
No, I don't blame you. So, I mean, did you obviously you've been to all these different places, and sometimes things get arranged for you and things, but sometimes as well, I would imagine you have to just go it alone and see what you find.
Yeah.
Have you found?
Yeah, we typically, like the bigger, badder ones like Chernobyl and China were arranged for or through other entities that were there, and both times they were great. And it's probably, something that's my favorite thing, is being able to travel around the world and make really good friends. Yeah,
we could if we could. Well, at least we've got friends in the US now. If we come over, you'll have to host us when we have our America trip.
We're doing an American show, are we?
I think so.
Definitely.
Every show has. Well, you've made it as a show if you get it up in America, as most of our TV hosts from the UK do end up there. Yeah.
Is that how it works?
Oh, generally, they never come back after they make it over there. But then, ironically, there's a few like hosts that come from the US that end up in the UK and never leave. So I don't know. But so the question I have in mind is, when you come to the UK, then?
Well, actually, Drew and Steele are heading over next week.
Wow, lucky for them.
Yeah, they're going to start in Dublin. I'm putting them on a plane. They go to Dublin, and they have a return trip back from Rome.
Wow.
On July 6th. So they've got about, I don't even know, 12 days or so. They've got to make their way from there to there through, panhandling and social media.
Have you used the Top Gear methodology? You need to hand them an envelope with a card in there with some outrageous sort of challenges.
Pretty much.
You have a quad. In fact, you have 100 quads. You have to fly over this lake.
Right.
The amount of fun you could have.
They're just going to be standing on the side of the street trying to sell their quads just to get food.
Have you thought about if they don't make
if we're lucky?
I mean, what if they don't make it back?
Oh, they'll make it.
It's a good idea.
We've had plenty of opportunities to get lost in much more dangerous countries.
You haven't been to the UK yet.
That's true.
No, we're fine here. There's a British person trying to say that. At the moment, currently, Tony's getting drunk. Tony, you'll know from before. Ectros is a new person on Let's Join Out, by the way, so formal introduction.
Hello, Chad.
Yes, nice meeting all of you guys.
I had a question to ask, actually. I was watching your latest video, and there's that scene with the Canon that you're shooting where you got in trouble.
Oh, yeah.
What?
You said Canon. I thought you meant camera.
No,
the Canon.
What actually happened? You just shot off too many shots, and they were worried.
Well, yeah. So it was kind of weird because the park was closed, and we had kind of like free roam of the park because the people that brought us over, I guess they were friends with one of the owners or investment partners in that park, which is just massive, and so we're just walking around. Imagine like Walt Disney World or Universal Studios, and it's just closed down and you get free roam in the whole place. So we're just walking around, and I thought the place was closed, and the guy was just being nice and saying, "Hey, come over and shoot the Canon." So I'm like, okay. So I just start shooting it, and then he says something in Chinese, and my friend Kevin, who's one of the hosts, he's like, "You better stop," and just realized we were racking up all these dollars. I forget how. Let me see. It was like, he said originally when I talked to him again,
$15.
I think it was like yeah. Well, no, it worked out to, hold on. I got to do the math. It was about $25 is what it was, and then he cut it down to 15. But yeah, so it was no big deal. It was funny because it's so hard to communicate over there.
Yeah, how many hand actions came out to symbolize gun or money?
I was waiting for the fist to come out. It did look like a bit of a fight was just about to break out.
No, actually, I have to say all the Chinese people that I came in contact with are pretty passive for the most part. They're very nice people and very accommodating. I just think it was a legitimate miscommunication.
And the translator as well, that thing worked amazing. That's the first time I've actually seen someone using the translator.
Oh, it saved my life over there because nobody speaks English. I mean, just like in the city center of like Shanghai and that, but when you get off the beaten path, nobody speaks English.
Yeah, what's the Chinese word for drone? I want to fly my drone here. I
don't even know. I could use my translator.
Just take off and hope for the best.
Yeah.
Yep.
I was in the Philippines for 3 months, and everywhere you go there, the language changes. Like slightly.
Oh yeah.
So you learn a few words, and then you go sort of 50 miles in one direction, and then all of a sudden the language is completely different. So
the dialects are quite diverse, I think, in Philippines, aren't they?
That's the one. Yeah, the dialects, and everything changes. You go from step to step. So the further you move out, the more strange and the harder it is to communicate altogether. It gets to the point where not even they can communicate with each other. So,
yeah. Wow.
So even the people that we had looking after us were just like, yeah, I've got no idea what they're saying. So
that trip was a blast, though. I was really glad we got to go on it, and the people were great.
Some of the
that's the thing. I think we, for some reason, all these countries get kind of a bad rap, but you know, when we go and we actually meet the people and travel around, it's quite nice. I mean, Ukraine was awesome. I mean, the food in Ukraine was by far the best food I've had traveling anywhere.
Wow.
And I think part of it was because I didn't expect it. You know, I didn't really expect that there'd be great food. But it was cheap and it was great. So what can you get better than great food?
Awesome spots to fly, and you got those as well. So I guess, yeah.
I think my favorite today has to be the Chernobyl. That is that's actually become a dream of mine since seeing that video. It looks amazing.
Oh boy, it was something I wanted to do for quite a while, and Steele wanted to do it. And when I found out Steele wanted to do it, that's what I was like, well, if we both want to do it, talk to the other guys. They wanted to. The only one that was kind of apprehensive was my son. I was like, you want to go to Chernobyl? And he's like, let me do some research first. And then he's like, okay, I'll go.
There must be some dangers involved, though, because obviously they've got all the gates and everything in place. So there must be a genuine sort of worry for people's health.
No, there's really not a lot of protection there because for one, it's hard to get there. There's 2 gated zones, but people still do sneak through it. But once you're in the area, I mean, there's no protection or, you know, things marking anything off. Like it's dangerous because if you're not with a guide or, you know, like these adventure tour guides, I mean, you might be right in the middle of a hot zone and not even know it. So it's a little scary, but we were there 3 days, and by the 3rd day, we're just like walking around. We figure, hey, if he's not concerned, I'm not concerned.
No, that's brilliant. That's brilliant.
Yeah,
that is my dream. I think my dream flying location has to be Chernobyl. Just after that video, watching some of the
definitely
dives.
Worth going. I mean, it was awesome. It really was.
At least you've got a contact to know who to speak to try and get someone like that arranged. I mean, I can't imagine.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Actually, well, the guys from Ukrainian Drone Racing Association, they were amazing. I mean, they took care of us, and you know, there's quite the following of drone racing and freestyle over there.
You know, it's at the point now where there's always going to be a small facet of people all over the world, probably with whatever reasons they're going to have or resources they're going to have to start flying these things. And I suppose that's one way of contacting anyone in a country. Just get in touch with the local drone flyers. So.
Yeah, because they're all happy to talk to other drone pilots. So.
And it's such a cross section of what I've noticed, even from within the UK, the cross section of people that meet in the local groups. There could be anyone sort of who looks after any part of the society, from a bank to engineering to a teacher to whatever. There's a whole cross section of people that fly these things under a common goal. So
yeah, I mean, that's the hobby itself. I think that's what's so great about it is, you know, you can have a doctor and a truck driver and just 3 completely random people that would never ever cross paths, you know, they're buddies out at the field, and it's pretty amazing.
I mean, I think it's quite funny with Ledrib's, where he showed a race car driver who now flies drones. He says, which do you prefer then? And he's like, and you think, yeah, even when there's really cool things to do, like race cars around a circuit, some people are thinking, actually, this is really cool, and it's not an easy answer.
Right.
So
yeah, we're not just nerds then.
No,
well, we're still nerds. Not just nerds.
Just nerds. No,
we're cool nerds then.
Right. I would agree.
So, is there any other destinations you're hoping to get to that you haven't been to yet, or anything that's in the pipeline you can share with us, where you might be ending up? And I don't know.
Well, we'll go anywhere. I think. A lot of times it just comes from a suggestion or whatever. I think me personally, I would love to go to like Nepal. You know, I love kind of remote epic locations. I think it'd be cool to go to like Easter Island You know, there's, I mean, I could think of a dozen places I'd love to go, but we never know what's next. You know, it's usually month to month. We don't plan too far ahead.
Documentary filmmaking, which it essentially is documentary.
Yeah.
There's the whole world out there, isn't there?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
The only thing I think is it's like often what happens with base, you know, base jumpers and that. Always try and, or adrenaline junkies, they always try to go for that even better place now. And I didn't know that something is into the you know, Red Riot that you'd be thinking, all right, we've done China, we've done Chernobyl. Come on, we're gonna get something better. Let's do it from space. Oh, David's already done that one. Damn it.
Yep. Well, you know, I think it's funny because you know, a lot of these, you said base jumpers, you know, they're going off higher and higher cliffs. But with freestyle, what's cool is it doesn't have to be, there's no real commonality other than stuff that's kind of big and interesting, you know. So it might be a statue, it might be a cavern, it could be a building, it could be so what I'm noticing is we're starting to find these areas of interest that are just unique and interesting. It's not like they're all hiking locations or they're all cliffs. It's just like a hodgepodge of anything that has holes and gaps and, you know, variations in elevation, and that's about it.
Actually, because when I was speaking to Drew earlier, we were talking about Stonehenge and, like, you know, it'd be an awesome spot to fly, but something like, I think there is actually the documentary side of it. When you just, it doesn't have to be a big space. It doesn't have to be, it's just something that's interesting or different that is a showcase to even people that don't necessarily fly to say, look, there's this spot, look at this. It's whatever. Here's this angle.
In a way that you never saw it before. And in the way you know, the drones move around it, it gives you a different perspective, and you can kind of understand, you know, like scope and scale and proportions. It helps when things are flying around it like that. You can just get a better understanding of the space and what's around it. And you never see that when it's shot with a typical camera, because it's always the same shots. They do a wide shot, a medium shot, a couple close shots, and another, you know, and they might do an aerial, but they're all these kind of like slow or static moving shots. But to go from like here through here, up and around, and all within a matter of 5 seconds, it gives you just a unique perspective you don't get any other way.
Is that why Legib's kind of on board now with Red Riot, because he does super smooth cinematic flows and everything? You've got it for his camera skills.
Oh yeah, it's a number of things. I mean, he's got the personality. I'm honestly, what really piqued my interest with him was every time, you know, I ask around about different pilots and people and get an idea from the community. But something I kept hearing from people about him was how he is very positive and he's always trying to grow the hobby. And that's pretty much the core of, you know, what we're all about, is trying to grow this and you know, inspire people to get in. And
it's funny you mentioned that, inspire, because that's one of the questions I was going to lead to. Because I mean, the Road Riot Facebook groups now, it's 18,000 or 18,500. The
numbers crazy.
Somewhere around there.
But Facebook group, that's huge.
You're going to ask about purging.
Well, we'll get to that. But you mentioned it, because I remember a post you put up a long time ago about saying, you know, this is obviously a big community and it's worldwide reaching, and that perhaps post stuff that inspires other people or is very helpful or shows people a different thing. And I mean, I've noticed a few people using it for their own gain rather than hopefully to inspire, just saying, look at my video and getting hopefully a few more likes on it. So, I mean, that's something that you would have had to have been mindful of. But obviously, it's probably even going to go bigger. What sort of the challenges, obviously, for you policing and things like that? And
I mean, I keep it pretty simple. I mean, we have a group of admins and moderators that are awesome, and they, you know, I don't know, they're pretty efficient. You know, they take care of things. I don't like censoring. I don't like, you know, keeping people from saying or sharing their thoughts. But what we do is if they share it in a way that is tearing people down, it's gone, you know, and we get rid of it. So that's kind of like the cardinal rule, I should say, in our group. If you're tearing somebody down, if you're like, you know, calling people names tearing them down personally about their, their personal story, their personal preferences, whatever it might be, but you're using that information to tear them down personally. That's the big no-no. Everything else I like for me, as far as I'm concerned, is fair game. Like, you can have the strongest opinion you want, just share it respectfully. And, people, even language and things like that. Now, certain content, like, sexually explicit or violent or gory, none of that stuff has a place in there. People will show their hand, which I personally don't mind, but there's a lot of group members that make that stuff. But I figure if people see bloody fingers, they're going to be more careful.
It's
yeah.
Isn't it? It can sometimes be quite an important thing to see the damage that can be caused if you're not being. So in a way, it's sort of a safety video, or at least.
Yeah, I mean, that's how I see it. But I also understand some people just have really weak stomachs or don't want to see it, or for whatever reason.
Well, maybe you could just sell it as an inspiration, an inspiration for safety first, people.
Right. We want to inspire people to be safe.
Yeah. But obviously, I mean, you'll always find trolls out that exist in these groups and stuff. And sometimes the trolls get, a lot of exposure, probably more than they actually should do. And I think the ethos is that everything, people are always trying to help each other out. And it's a shame that people think that sort of one person is more deserving than another, and why isn't this and that. So I guess it's a danger with Rotor Riot being quite a full, worldwide forum. Well,
I think I'm hoping now that it's, I think it kind of hit critical mass at some point. Once we kind of figure that out, what'll probably happen is, you'll have, just like school or anything, you'll have kind of, the subgroups break off or whatever. And that's fine. It is what it is. I mean, I only started the group, oh boy, and I'm embarrassed because I recommended it. Oh, they're like, you should. I'm like,
was it?
Yeah, it was like, yeah, I don't even think it was a full year and a half ago. I think the group started, I don't know what the date is. I mean, but my point is, it was all very casual. Like, it wasn't like, oh, I'm going to start a group and try to make it the biggest group. Like, and even people have come at me saying, I know you're trying to grow the largest group. And I'm like, I didn't even know how many members there were until we hit 10,000. So, because then people started making a big deal out of it. And I'm like, I didn't even know how many members we had. So it's just a very casual group. And we closed it to hopefully, so you have to like get approved. You have to answer a question. It's a closed speak group, and we still get like probably about 50 requests a day. So we turn a lot of people away.
Wow. That's a lot of people that just want to grow their own YouTube channels. I know. And actually, the whole inspiration though, even the noobs out there that have just learned to fly and said, look, I'm really excited. That excitement is the inspirational part. But I suppose.
Oh yeah. I want people to.
There is a point though when something is a kind of a mark of excellence, where there's so many members is a thing you kind of want only the best videos to be inspired by, and that's a danger. Yeah, it's tough because the more people that get into it, the more I see the same stuff over and over. But every once in a while, somebody stands out, and I like to share it. I mean, I find probably 3 videos a week that I'm inspired by, and I share. I can't fly like any of these guys. I'm just more impressed by the the visuals of it. I mean, I can fly, but I can't fly. So, do you fly with a GoPro stuck to anything? Particularly a GoPro. Well, I mean, just out of interest.
Well, no, I have an Alien that I fly. It's all. You want to see it? It's really beat up.
Okay, let's see.
So, wait.
Yeah, I love the plane stuck to the roof.
It's backwards.
So I have
only since we moved away from the view, we can actually see all the wonders that are existing in that room.
So this is actually Andre, who is our admin. He's our main administrator in the forum or the group. He built this for me.
Wow.
And then and actually Chad built one for me, and I lost it. I flew it away. I think it may have been the maiden or the very second flight, but I was just so into it because we had like low fog that day, and I wanted to get above the fog, and I was just like completely captivated. And I knew my battery was getting low, but I'm like, just 10 more seconds, and then it went black, and I have no idea where it was. So,
we have that problem in the UK with, especially if you get up and you're flying, and there's a load of low flying cloud. But as soon as you take off, it's all white, and you think, where am I? I can't see anything.
Well, this was because I killed the battery. The battery just completely, I killed it completely, and I had no.
Do you lick the lens of your GoPro?
Basically,
I can.
Quads crash and that, and we've started this questioning thing because, well, it all just to give you a bit of background history. I saw some people at an event lick their GoPro, and I thought, whoa, you lick your GoPro, and then it turns out quite a lot of people lick their GoPro. So the question is,
a lot of people do.
Yeah, I mean,
I lick my thumb. Then
a thumber.
Yeah, I do it like that.
Yeah,
not a lens licker.
So we need,
I'm not the lens licker.
Oh,
we're gonna conclude this year with some medical tests.
The hierarchy.
We're gonna get some cameras and swipe them to see what bacteria may or may not be on them post and camera licking. So
everyone in the chat,
Right.
it's all part of
so many
scientific
people
testing.
in the chat saying, please lick your lens. Lick it.
Hashtag camera
Lick it. Lick it. Lens
Wait,
licker.
I'm gonna lick this one because it's cleaner. Now it's clean.
Hey!
There you go, people.
Well, it's like the 5-second rule. I think it's largely subjective, but anyway. Speaking of cameras, though, you obviously run around with big cameras, you direct big cameras and everything like that. Is there any different things coming in the pipeline for a sequel to DR1 or anything of bigger proportions you're going to do?
I don't think I've had the... there's so much to do with Rotor Riot. I haven't even had the mental capacity to think about Rotor DR2.
Yeah.
But we are going to try something. It was Drew's idea, and it's quad related, and it's kind of a maybe more like a thriller / Twilight Zone-ish kind of feel to it.
In cinemas next year?
No, it's a short film. So probably in a few weeks we'll put it up.
Oh, excellent. I mean, we have the UK flyer, Tom Smith. I don't know if you've heard of Tom Smith. He's quite well known in the UK.
Oh, yeah. I love Tom. I met him in Dubai.
He's an American. We're trying to get him on the show. We love him. Everyone loves him, but he hasn't said yes yet. He keeps on saying maybe. If you see him again,
right,
ask him, please. But I actually quite like it when people try and make something, people expect one thing and then they push the boundaries out a little bit and whatever's made outside of the norm. And I think there's a lot of people now questioning, do I want to just see more freestyle videos? Do I want to just see a vlog and a Formula 8 thing? And I think it's quite interesting when people try and think outside of the box, especially considering now the cinematic shots you can get from some of these in close proximity to whatever.
Oh, yeah.
So.
Well, and do you know Stickman?
Yeah.
I mean, he's got some of the best right now. I mean, his stuff is amazing. I love it.
Yeah.
And I know more and more people are doing things. I mean, I've been wanting. There's a number of things that I want to try. It's just about keeping up with our current commitments. And then once we kind of catch up on all of that, I'll continue trying things. I do something I've been talking about for pretty much since we started is to our industry and have the Rotor Riot guys version of themselves. But it's shot a little more maybe cinematically, but it still feels kind of real, but it's all like fictional based on reality. So a very meta concept.
But I suppose that this is it. There's branding aspects to what is Rotor Riot, and even the people that come on board under what is Rotor Riot have their own entity they bring to it, and there's always that. Yeah, it'd be interesting. Well, if you're having the stuff, we'll be extras for free and stuff in DR2 or whatever you produce.
Oh, I would want to include everyone in it. I'd want cameos from every possible person that we could get in it.
If you're listening, Tom Smith, you've got to come on the show to actually get that information. But
yeah, I've been a fan of Tom's. I watched his stuff even before Dubai, which was last spring. So to see, what he's doing now, because he's talking to the camera, that's great stuff.
I don't know. There's one, there's always one aspect of one video of one person that usually sticks if they're a worthy pass of memory. And I'll never forget the time when he had his goggles on his head or something, and he picked up his picnic rug with a stick and just carried it back to the car, saying, "I'm mad. People think I'm mad." But and
I don't think I saw that
you
one.
have to see them and just play it with the camera and stuff. But you see, I guess Tom Smith, especially around the local flyers around here, we always do his Tom Smithness, like, all right, I'm gonna go flying, lad.
Right.
And it's nice when people, even if they don't make the videos and stuff, have that ingrained on it. Maybe then you need to get them as an honorary member, UK Rotor Riot.
Oh yeah,
Tom, listen,
that'd be great.
I suppose in your worldwide business adventures, then you might have to start growing as what it is. And obviously it's grown quite a lot in the, let's say, a year and a half.
Oh yeah, I mean it's.
Were you
I
ever
everything
aware of the success it be and has become?
Well, I mean, to a certain extent, I think there was somewhat of an expectation just because of flight test, and this is just it's essentially a spin-off, but in a different direction. It's the flight test audience is not the same as the Rotor Riot audience. So I saw another audience that needed fed just like the flight test audience needed that. And
like the unruly kids that actually make good telly. And they're not unruly kids, I know.
Yeah, well, it's funny because some of these guys have grown up watching flight tests and then kind of graduated high school and started flying mini quads, and now they're watching Rotor Riot, and then someday they're going to have kids that'll go back and watch flight tests. So
they're going to show like Rotor Riots. Well, I mean, flight test or Rotor Riots. They say, look at this really odd stuff. Can you believe it was in 16:9? Look at that.
We had to fly with our hands.
I remember.
Now we can fly with our minds.
Yep, that's exactly what's going to happen.
Were you just going to say you remember 4x3? Don't. Don't. No, that's just showing too much age now. No.
And I back on the old episodes of Flight Test. I mean, it's so funny,
See, how old does Flight Test go back to then? Because that's in no way a marker, the 4x3.
Still 16:9 when we started it, but it was 2010 was the first.
Wow.
2010.
I remember getting into flying and then discovering Flight Test, and I spent 2 days back to back watching every single one, and I loved it.
Yeah, I remember I would get emails every week. Somebody would say, "Oh, I just stumbled across it, and I went back and watched every episode." And I'm like, "Really, every episode?" Because even at that point we had like 200 episodes. Because now Flight Test is up to like 850 episodes.
Wow.
Something like that.
Wow.
Yeah. And Rotor Riot just crossed over 100.
Wow.
So
there's some memorable things like KFC bucket planes and all sorts. I mean, just all in there. So, wow.
Well, and Peter, who did the bucket plane, he came out this past weekend with Kevin and Drew, and we had some fun. So we're about to see, what happens when you mix rockets and quads.
Oh, I can't wait.
God help us.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that.
That sounds really quite interesting. I saw a wicked video the other day where they put smoke grenades, like different color smokes, on the quad.
Oh, I just saw that. There was a little disheartening. It was really cool to see, but a little disheartening because we did stuff with smoke as well, and I know it's going to be one of those things where they're like, "Oh, you copied this guy."
Yeah, unfortunately, if you go out second, it's always the case, isn't it? But there's one line Say that. Talent borrows, genius steals. Just say that.
We done it a year ago. Just saying.
Yep. Yeah, exactly. So
That's the problem.
well, yeah, and then when we went to China, you know, we went to the Great Wall, but we have to kind of, you know, schedule out our episodes so people can get a regular, you know, weekly episode.
Yeah.
So even though we go here, you might not see it for 6 weeks later because we got to pace it out because we just don't have the budget to go to, you know, an exact location every single week. So when we did it, while we were still out there, we hadn't even, you know, gotten home yet. And Michael Webb had flown the wall or a different spot of the Great Wall and had already posted it. So it's always a race to, you know, be the first one to, you know, do the
you know what? Sometimes it's not who got there first, it's who did it best and who makes it most memorable.
So is there a photographer, film guy going with still? And Drew?
What?
Is there someone
Well,
following?
vloggers, I would imagine they're going to do it most of themselves.
Are they doing it themselves? Are they filming and vlogging and?
So this was mad scientist kind of brain. What I wanted to do was I wanted it to be really simple. I wanted it to be really real and raw. So I figured we have them, you know, shoot each other show by covering it themselves, and then they each do their own vlogs. So now you have 3 perspectives. You have, you know, Ladrib, Mr. Steele, and Rotor Riot. And I'm really looking forward to it. All I did was I thought, what's the episodes I want to watch? And I'm like, I want to watch them get thrown down, you know, and they have to go somewhere else in Europe. They have no hotels booked, no rides, no rental cars, nothing. They just have to get around however they can. And they got to sleep on people's couches and, you know, and
sweet. So are they going to come to England?
Just unplug your earphones a second, Chad. I say we steal them and we make our own show that Chad will just use the assets. That's it. Yes. All right. So you didn't hear that.
So, yeah.
We'll keep them in cages.
So it's
the one that Tony's already got. Yeah. Feed them how often? How do they need feeding? And it's still vegetarian.
Yes, he is. He's going to struggle. He had a hard time in China.
What, vegetarian?
He can come around mine.
They put chicken and pork and, you know, and they use the, you know, the animal fat grease and all of that.
Two of us are at least vegetarian, so we'll look after him as best we can whilst we see him hopefully in his leg of the journey as we send him on.
Well, they must have
I don't know how
budget though. Are you literally sending them with nothing?
I might give them each like $500.
Yeah, I suppose you need.
That's too much. Give them $100. Give them $100 each.
I mean, you've got that hunted show in the US as well, haven't you? Now, should we hunt them down? Turn the community
actually
and make them hunt them down.
That'd be really cool. We should do something. I don't know if we could prove it though. Like whoever spends the least, you know, wins something or something. You should do something like that. Well, because that's our crowd too. Like, let's face it, we're all cheap. Like,
yeah. I mean, the community is cheap. Yeah.
It's super cheap.
Cheap parts, cheap everything. Yeah.
I mean, I wish I was closer to my bins. I have bins. Everything, you know, that's reusable. It just goes in this bin and I reuse it.
Good.
But a lot of times I want to either, you know, give it away or something. But the problem is, even if it's junk, like I don't want to give it to somebody that's just doesn't know what it is or doesn't know how to use it. Like I always want to give it to people. And then if there's somebody that like, you know, really wants it or knows how to use it, then I'm give it all away. Like I'm horrible at selling anything, but I just want people, I just want them to use it and I don't know, have fun.
Good way to do it. Maybe what you should do is make them like make a Steel or Ladrib do stuff with the stuff you give them to say you have to do this in that location or something. I don't know, make it fly over the top of a mountain in the UK. I don't know. You could set a challenge.
Kind of like what was the one we did in LA, the scavenger hunt, where they had to go to the different locations.
Fly all the different places. Yeah, that would be cool. I think you should take their wallets off them.
Oh yeah.
take their passports off them and don't give them back till they get to the airport. Give them $100 each and a sleeping bag, and just let them get on with it.
Yeah. Well, they have to have internet because they have to be able to communicate with the fans. You know,
they can have their phone. They're allowed to take their phones and a charger.
Yeah, we've got to get them to England, man. We've got to get them over to England.
They'll be like, they have some power, please.
Is there a question as to why have you stopped them in Rome? Is that to not get across to see Yuli FPV and stuff in Germany, or is it stop it at Rome?
Yeah, we have, and Rome is the biggest down there. The decent airline ticket, you know, without sending them on 3 legs of flights. I mean, I was trying to minimize the amount of legs of flight, especially at that point. They're going to be so tired
and exhausted. Their eyes are going to be fixed open with they've been on the goggles, just flying all these new spots constantly as they went around places. Oh yeah, it'd be good adventure. So obviously, if when they're in the UK, we will try and give them the safe passage. It's not as bad as your president does think out that we're actually as bad in the UK. We are not alarmed. We'll all be fine. Yeah.
Well, good. So yeah, it'd be great to get. I know they're coming through, but they seriously have not. They planned the first stop with our friends in Ireland, up in Dublin. I don't know if you guys know Keith Tracy, but he kind of heads up that group in that area, and we met him in Ibiza.
Awesome. Well, so that's your responsibility done. As long as you let them get to their start destination, you let them go.
Once they're there.
Start and finish, that's it. You know, the rest of it's down to them.
Yeah. Yeah, well, they're not stupid. Anyone who builds a quad isn't stupid. If you can put, some program an ESC, if you can program a flight controller, you're not stupid.
They're quite resourceful. I just don't want them to lose the footage. So.
Yeah.
So if the bodies go missing, we got to recover the footage.
That could be
I guess
bad.
Most of Europe is pretty good on its broadband, so you could get them to go upload as they go, just to be on the safe side. I want
to go on the trip, but I really like the idea of just the 2 of them going and seeing if. I mean, they've never. I think they've only hung out like once briefly. But they've never, this is when they first met. Yeah.
So they might kill each other then.
They might.
No,
what you have to do is you have to fly in after them. So they get the first flight, you come in behind them. So they don't know you're there the whole time.
And I'll sneak behind them with the camera.
Just walk around and stitch them up every sort of day or 2. You know, like throw a few different things in the works.
So what you should do is appoint people in different countries to give them the new challenge, obviously. Would wear a coat to hand over the new challenge to say not a word. You must now fly something across this. No, it's a good idea. And it's, I suppose never before has anyone really been able to do it, because I think it's good that they're doing it in a pair, safety in numbers. But it's all, any single fly could never have done that as an adventure. And it's kind of bringing the coolness to drone flying through a community. It's the Top Gear-esque style, just go off and do something wild and then film it and come back. I like it. It's a positive thing to doing.
Yeah,
it's an idea. Oh, we'll just send them off. We don't care how they get back, just send them off. Or if they annoyed you so much, you just send them off. Come on, tell us the truth.
Yeah, I just want to see what happens.
What's your insurance policies on these people?
Probably not enough.
No, be fine. Yeah. So I mean, there's a lot of spots between obviously Dublin, the UK alone. There's a lot of spots, but are you going to make it out of Amsterdam? Are they going to get stuck there, or?
I don't know.
Maybe you should make sure they go south through France. It's a bit harder for them to get stuck there. Yeah.
Well, either it's going to go amazingly fabulous, or it's going to go horribly. So let's hope it's the first. Yeah.
So other than that, you going to be sending the others off on worldwide adventures, or are you going to be planning anything else for the rest of the year after that?
Well, we got Flight Fest coming up. Not all of us are going, but then we also have Riot, which is the International Open that we're doing with Multi-GP.
Oh,
so that'll be like this big kind of a festival of multi-rotors and FPV.
excellent.
So
and that's in the US.
that'll be this. Yeah, it's at Muncie, where AMA headquarters is in Indiana, and we'll be there around. It's around the August 13th.
All right, we'll have to check our LDO pocket money to see if we can make it over. But it'd be cool to come over and see that.
That would be great.
That's the inaugural Riot sort of event.
Yes, and it's funny because we discussed we wanted to do something like that, kind of like Flight Fest, but for multi-rotors. And we thought, oh, none of us could really organize that event, so let's call Chris at Multi-GP because we know he it's the kind of thing he does. And I brought up the idea to him, and he's like, well, why don't you just come out to our event in August and we'll just make it that. We'll just make it that. And I'm like,
Works.
BSM,
so I don't know.
BSM Weber in the chat. Paul and Thomas are apparently coming to see you guys at the Multi-GP.
G'day Thomas. G'day Paul. So you're going to have Australians over there. Maybe they'll bring other Australians over, mate. Oh no, I've slipped into my Australian now, mate. Straight. You had to do that, didn't you? Mention you. Stuart, from you, if you're listening, g'day. Come on, you've got to come to an Australian, eh? Today. But yeah, no. I suppose that's the thing, isn't it? For Rotor Riot, you've made it around the world, and like you said, in the groups in the Ukraine, they probably heard of Rotor Riot. It's made that mark in all facets around the world that you probably, other people haven't actually made it to.
Yeah, we haven't made it to Australia, which we really need to.
What? Yeah. Well, I mean, Chad is there enough, so technically,
yep. Well, yeah, but we need to go as a group. I really, really want to get down there. It's an expensive trip. I suppose if we do the same thing, if this thing goes well with Drew and Steele, we'll just give people tickets and make it. It's a little different in Australia.
They leave from Perth, Australia, because I've got a soft spot for Perth. Yes, I'm biased. Perth is the best spot in Australia, but gorgeous.
Gotcha.
Kings Park in Perth is epic. So
I've never been there myself. I've never been in the Southern Hemisphere anywhere, but I've been all over the Northern Hemisphere.
Oh, well, Australia is one of the best spots. Forget South Africa. Australia.
Yeah, I was gonna.
There's got to be there actually someone I fly with. He goes to Johannesburg and all that, and Cape Town, and it's amazing actually some of the spots they get to fly. So
yeah,
the worldwide adventure probably will continue, but Australia, yeah, that'd be good.
I'd like to. One thing I've always wanted to do is get the guys teamed up with maybe some kind of like first responder or search and rescue or something, but or maybe a military zone. And where they need to very quickly go out and recon an area, or see if there's either trouble or injuries or whatever, but use the drones in a way that's very quick and nimble. And
it's funny you should say that, because I have this idea in my head, and the UK is quite forward. We had the option to do a commercial flying long before you had the 107, but one thing I kept on thinking was they all use like Phantoms and Inspires and that. And I'm thinking what the people really need is like a 250 racer or a smaller that can zip around through windows, around the building, chase around the corner, and actually do proper pursuit. So I'm wondering at what point are the police going to wake up and realize, wait a minute, our Mavics and stuff are good, our Inspires can like fly for miles, but actually what we really want is these FPV stuff. So,
yeah,
maybe they need to get in with police and that play the Bad Boys theme track. Yeah,
I would love to. But I think me personally, not. I mean, again, I'm not that level of pilot, but I would love to arrange for us to. It'd be great if we could get on the front line somewhere, but I'm not sure who all would do it.
When you asked that question, who wants to go out and do this, and only your son said, "Are you sure?" More than just on that one.
Yeah,
I reckon the Drip might say, maybe not. Steel, I'd probably say yes. Chad would probably go, maybe not. Tommy, yes.
Yeah, it's hard to say. I think you might be wrong on some of your answers.
With who, sorry?
I think you might be wrong on some of your answers. It's hard. I don't want to call anybody out.
Tell us then. Come on, like, and then you can go back and say, look, I even said that before it actually happened. Come on.
So, okay, give me the situation, and I'll go through the pilot.
Okay, so they're going to go on to the front line in some war zone, maybe Syria, maybe, I don't know, Afghanistan, and they're going to just fly from relative safety, not absolute safety, but relative safety, fly their cars out into the actual open battlefield around tanks and stuff.
Now, the purpose will matter. So what's the purpose?
To try and show a different view of the frontline troops that are actually under attack and what sort of attacks they're under. And how they may, I don't know, maybe to show that front line warfare, because people they only get the TV news of it.
So to show it off for the media,
or an ammo run
to save the hostages.
Well, see, that might be different if it's an ammo run. So I don't know. I'm afraid to answer this one.
Yeah, no, you don't have to.
But I think
you're trapped in a bunker in the middle of the war zone, and they have to come and save you with one rocket attached to their quads to blow the door.
And a smoke grenade on it. And a smoke grenade.
Well, I could tell you if Peter ever joined the team, he would be there. And Drew is probably the most gung ho right now. Steele would do it if it had the right motivation. Tommy's getting a little more conservative. He's an awesome pilot, but I think taking our tour around the world, it takes its toll. So I think some of us, myself included, are kind of like, let's slow down a little bit.
Wow.
And Chad, no, I mean, just take a break, Yeah.
None of them are doing, but like, whoa, this is a lot. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll get back out there. But Chad, let's see. Chad's quite adventurous.
Oh, I seem to have lost you there on that feed. I don't know if you're still coming through. Chad's obviously listening in. Hold the plug on that.
He's frozen.
We might have lost him in the big hangar.
Oh, he's come back.
I can see you.
And he's back in the room.
We were thinking Chad had control of your internet and just unplugged it, saying, he's not going to say anything about me. No.
Exactly.
Well, Chad...
No, I think...
sorry, yeah?
Yeah, Chad's quite adventurous, but I don't know. It would be really weird because I wasn't sure how they would respond to the Chernobyl. And you know what? That's probably what you can do is go back and watch the Chernobyl episodes and see who did what, and that'll give you a clue.
Yeah. Are you going to set this up then? Where we can start some bets and some wagers.
Yeah, we should. I'm trying to think of what Kevin would do if he would go or not. He might.
So to go back,
I don't know. Sometimes
our original point, we said, what's the bigger and more adrenaline-filled things can you do? And I guess that is one of those things, isn't it? Where I guess
we have an episode coming up where Tommy was doing some stuff with Red Bull it really put him to the test. So I'll just leave it at that.
Oh,
that sounds good.
It didn't involve retrieving a GoPro down from a warehouse roof that they never actually knew where it was until they found it.
No, it has to do with Red Bull, drifting, and drones.
Okay.
And it's not just chasing the cars. So
I hope you're going to post it in this Red Riot group that I know of. It's about inspirational and really cool stuff.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. What is so Monday's episode? I think is the Great Wall. So I'm looking forward to that one.
I mean, do you notice a trend in which ones are most popular, or if it's a bit more out there, or anything like that? Because obviously, when you start looking at episodes of a show, you can actually see that trend as, wow, that one worked, that one didn't. Maybe we changed this to do that. Actually,
the best ones are the ones where everyone gets together and kind of plays the game, or like the game of quad. Those guys get together and have fun usually do the best, but that's the hardest thing to do, is to get everyone together.
Yeah.
So,
well, everyone together on the same page with the same vibe, because you can get everyone together.
Oh, yeah.
It's not on the same vibe, and yeah.
Yep. Yeah. Sometimes, yeah, you get people together, and some people are, you know, just not feeling it, and then the others are, and yeah, it's definitely a bit of a challenge.
Have you tried alcohol? I mean, Tony, he's on the chat today. He wasn't really feeling it, but we did playing with him some alcohol.
Yeah, you saw drunk droning, right?
Sorry, what was that? Yeah, I did actually. I did see drunk droning. I tried it once New Year's Eve, and it was horrible. I didn't enjoy it.
Yeah. No, it was. Yeah, it was. That one was a controversial episode, and yeah, it was interesting.
I mean, okay, this is the other point I was going to make, is Rotor can, well, from drone flying, I'm of the opinion, and I have the equivalent of the 107 UK. I think sometimes you can inspire through, so, I mean, guerrilla art, whether it's guerrilla flying or anything like that. Sometimes art actually should rule in for a shot or something to showcase something. I guess that's something that you guys probably have to realize, that is it artistic, and is it just now going to be funding this whole idea that perhaps we should all be a bit reckless, or is it actually saying, look, this is what you can do and this is the amazing to have, but still be mindful?
Well, I think safety is the point that we come to, is, you know, even though we do something that looks stupid or, you know, looks dangerous or whatever, you know, we had a full year, I mean, over a full year of operation without any injuries. I mean, we had one injury, and it was Chad messing around with his quad, just like in Dubai, and it sliced his arm. But he was just messing around with it. Like, we weren't shooting an episode. It wasn't anything planned. It wasn't, you know, he was just kind of showing off with it, and it bit his arm. But, you know, our guys haven't hit anyone, you know, they haven't hurt each other. We've not put anybody in danger. So safety is a big deal for us. Like, we're not going to do anything that's going to endanger people. And, you know, the rest is all, I mean, like the drunk droning episode, like the only people they were in danger of hurting were themselves, and they knew full well what they were getting into. So
Mythbusters used to get away with that sort of stuff a lot. I mean, Mythbusters got really drunk on set a lot of the time and would do stupid things. Yeah. Maybe it's just a matter of time before people let you get drunk and all sorts of things.
Well, there was still a lot of people upset about it, and, you know, when Tommy dove the building, and, you know, but the way I look at it is, if you don't, you know, push the boundaries, then you're not doing anything. And if you do bump up against those boundaries, at least you spur discussion. And as long as we can keep a level head, not insult one another, we can have intelligent discussion about it, and actually learn quite a bit.
Yeah. I mean, I think that does actually, people are wanting to actually get the name for stuff rather than actually just saying, look, I've done this, and this, it facilitated a discussion or anything like that. People just, yeah, I like it. It's a very good response. I think it's not easy, because as a branding thing, to show what these cool things, you know, what something cool can do with cool sort of settings and cool pilots, it's tricky to sometimes be able to put out there and know what the audience response is. Because I bet you didn't think for 1 second that the drunk flying episode would cause so much of a backlash from some.
Well, I was pretty sure it would, but you never know. So, like, you know, it's going to cause something, but you don't know where it's going to come from. Like, you don't know what angle people are going to get upset about, because you might think it's about this thing and they're really upset about this other thing that you had no clue about, you know. And
I suppose it's not just videos either. You know, people trying to help each other out, and Chav, obviously with his bag, seem to get such a response in a backlash from certain people, and you think, well, it's not always, you're just showing and facilitating what is possible with these things, and it can't be easy for Rotor, right? You'll always get.
No, it isn't. But, you know, you just stick to what you do and have fun.
With your purge, then, did you get a big pitchfork? Did you poke them until they left the group, or?
With what?
With the purge of Rotor Riot, purge that
Great Purge 2007.
It's funny, you know. I like to play it up like it's this, you know, massive exodus, but it's honestly, it's usually like, I think the last purge might have been like 8 people, 10 people, because it's the vocal minority. You know, it's not, there's not that many bad people, or I don't want to say bad people, troublemakers. There's not that many. It's just that it's a handful of them that are very active. And, you know, typically once you take care of them, then the others kind of shape up. And, but yeah, we do. We'll go through and hack and slash, and, you know, we'll go back in the admin group and I'll say, hey, anybody calling anyone any name, they're done, out, you know, and just
Clinton said I was a good flyer the other day. Is that a name?
Sorry? What was that?
He was a good flyer. He called me names.
Yeah,
there's quite a lot of name calling when Final Glide had his stuff stolen.
It's not just Rotor Riot, but it's
that
a lot of the big Facebook groups, and you sometimes you get so much politics about quadcopters and this and that,
and the lore of it, and this isn't right.
Sometimes you just have to say, right, I can't be bothered anymore.
I think because a lot of people don't see it as an art. It is an art to flying, and it's an art of things. People just see it as an activity, and it's more than just an activity.
I think my favorite one was Casey Neistat, and everybody was saying, well, I don't like Casey Neistat. And it's quite simple. You either sort of skip past and don't watch it, or, you know, but why?
Well, it's like Marmite, isn't it? You love it or you hate it.
No, I think within the whole Casey Neistat thing, it was a positive for his, you know, do you like him as what he's doing as a successful YouTuber? But then the other aspect was, do you agree with what he's doing with flying a drone in the center of New York City?
People go off topic quite a lot, though. I mean, a lot of it was like, he's rubbish, he's crap, he's this, he's that. It's just, well, don't watch it then.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's quite simple. But yeah, I don't know. Painful.
Wow, I'm sure that I hope to see more artistic, inspirational things from groups in the future. And I always think it's a shame when people are too quick to complain rather than actually, and we can, well, in the UK we are a nation of complainers most of the time, but people are too
mainly because of the weather, Jay.
Huh?
Mainly because of the weather.
Truth, mate. Well, stop it, mate. I mean, you meant to complain about other stuff, you know, not just weather.
Goddamn weather, man! It's always raining.
It's too hot.
Well,
it is actually too hot. The last 2 days have been like 30 and it's boiling, and I'm looking out my window and there's a beautiful.
See what I mean? We're in a nation of complainers, Chad. That's too typical Englishman.
Too much sun, too much cold. The weather's too good.
Right.
It's too hot.
Too much weather.
Yeah.
The sky's too grey. The sky's too blue.
Well, maybe I think one thing that you should start doing and planning, and maybe even having that seed in your head, is perhaps Flight Fest International, and bring it to the UK first, and we'll get all the people across from Europe. But
right.
Flight Fest International, because I'm always quite jealous when Flight Fest comes around, and obviously it's something that started from your input. So yeah, it's like, oh, look at that, all those people having fun flying around, and when we have the Hobby King Live event, but it's not the same. It's all corporate stuff.
Right.
And it's September.
Yeah.
It's probably going to rain.
See?
Wah, wah, wah.
Yeah.
It's probably going to rain. Everybody's going to die.
Well, that's it. Tony, have another drink and see if it all goes rosy again. Yeah. Yeah. Well, shame they're not coming across on your UK tour with these others. I think they might actually need someone to be the chauffeur. Well, not chauffeur, but what's the chaperone?
Yeah.
Yeah. I hope you can sleep at night, Chad. I hope you can sleep at night. Yeah. But when you do get an adventure over to UK, we'll come on. We'll look after you when you come over, and that. But it would be
that'd be great.
Hopefully, look after them. So well, obviously, there's a lot of exciting things coming out from Rotor Riot in the next few days, and a few weeks and months. So we'll look forward to that. And maybe, when you're ready to start DR2 with a now older son, that is great.
Yeah. He's much older now.
Yeah, much older. Actually, one thing I was
Well, he
looking
was
at,
16.
you know, most directors and most people that have actually started branded things and all that have a Wikipedia page. But today I was thinking, is Chad Kapper on that mark of actually having somebody created a Wikipedia page? But I don't.
Oh my gosh, I don't know. I don't think so.
But surely someone who's on IMDb and all that should potentially think about it.
Oh.
Maybe you should drop it to the team and say, look, guys, why haven't I got my Red Riot on there?
You're on camera.
Hello.
Run!
You see it on camera. I was doing a podcast.
That was brilliant.
Nah.
Hello.
We can't.
Hold on. Oh, okay. So we got a lot of work to do. Okay. So she just informed me we had family coming in from out of town tomorrow, but they're coming in early. So I have to hide the camera so she can leave.
Down a bit. There you go.
Brilliant.
Oh no, it's been well. To be honest, it sounds like you probably need to get off and get some stuff done. And we have actually got to run over our hour, but it has been a pleasure having you on the show again, Chad. Always.
Well, yeah. Well, thank you. Now you got me wondering about a Wikipedia page. I'm like, I want a Wikipedia page.
I know you should get one. Let that be the lasting legacy from what I've just mentioned tonight. Is to
Oh wow, that'd be amazing.
I'd like to say thank you for helping Final Glide out and everyone else who did.
Yeah.
Oh, definitely. Yeah. I mean, I want to thank everybody. I mean, that was definitely a low point in the negativity of the group, and I'm embarrassed by that. But you know, I think there's a lot more. A lot more people stepped up.
It's good to actually show, because the ones that actually are for it shine more than the ones that are actually. So actually, whilst it was a negative aspect to the community, there's positive that comes from it.
Yeah, I think the positive definitely outweighed the negative. It's just the negative wave came first, and you know that sucks. So
it did suck.
I apologize for anybody that had to endure that, but I think it's our group's just getting better every week. So I'm proud of that.
Yeah, and onwards and better to bigger and better things and more adventures around the world, and maybe even that war zone that we were talking about. Once we work out,
yes,
we're gonna go and film
paintball guns and a bunker, and someone hiding in the bunker, and of course trying to save them. And you got to try to shoot the quads down with the paintball gun.
Yes, I like the way
we're already planning it. We've already got it.
Just send me the instructions.
Got my weekend plans.
We're sending Clint. I'm staying at home in the cozy warm.
Nice.
Well, I mean,
thank you guys.
David's already got a lot of experience with war zones, with tanks and stuff, so David has to be on included in that.
I agree.
Yeah. Well, thank you everyone for tuned in, and the chat room. I haven't actually been in there because we've had an awesome guest on. Thank you all the listeners who are tuning in every week. Fossil Stuff, who is our one and only one patron that helps keep this show running. And thanks to you, Tony, Clinton, but most of all, thanks to you, Mr. Kapper.
It was
thanks.
Well, thank all of you guys, and I look forward to meeting you someday. I'm sure we will.
Well, before that happens, rest assured, in the UK leg, we'll do everything in our power to make sure that Steele and Ladrib make it en route to somewhere in Europe. Once around
somewhere in Europe,
we don't know what's going to happen to
them. Yeah. Pester their social.
But just remember, you have to give them $100. You know, a coat.
Take their passports.
Take everything away from their phone. One of those little battery banks for charging up their GoPros, and yeah, that's it. Leave them to it.
Okay, so how about in Rome, I hide their passports somewhere and give them a GPS location, and they can only retrieve it with the quad.
Yeah, but you have to put them high up somewhere, so they have to retrieve them with the quads.
Right. Yeah, they have to put like magnets on the bottom of the quad to get the package. So, I like it.
This is and then you find out after 200 days, there's one of them still wandering around trying to get food to survive because their quads run out of batteries.
Right. 3 quads are all on the Eiffel Tower with my passport.
Oh, that's well, and if it's magnetic and it sticks to the tower, they're screwed.
It's just all these quads stuck.
Everything's there. I have the drone, please. The last drone stuck to the drone. Damn it.
It wouldn't be the first time.
Yeah, no, I definitely think to make the trip more interesting, you should really restrict what they have. The less, the better.
I think you're right. I'm going to talk to him about it. So, okay, I got to get going, guys.
Yeah, no, thanks again,
Thank
Chad,
you.
and catch up soon. Once again, thanks
Take
again.
care.
Thanks.
Bye.
Bye. Thanks.
Remember, you have been listening to Let's Drown Out with the now darker, probably more drunk Tony. Tony, have another drink, Tony.
I can't.
Have your medicine, Tony. Have your medicine.
Mr. Tony McBurney.
Oh, dear.
Well, Tony's got to sleep
Alrighty.
tonight, but once again, you have been listening to the usual suspects of Clinton, aka Ectraz.
Hello.
Good night.
Bye.
Tonstar1, the Tonstar1,
Bye bye. I don't know if you can see me anymore.
aka known as Tony Macaroni, and myself, Jay, also known as Chico. Don't forget to click like down below and subscribe if you're not. And don't forget also to click that bell to make sure you always find out when we're coming out live. But I'm guessing you already have. But thanks again for everyone tuning in. We'll see you next week.
Cheers,
Bye.
fellas. Peace out.
Bye.